And so at Love146, we're fighting child trafficking and providing care to survivors. Not everyone has a direct impact or a direct connection to that kind of exploitation. But we do see a lot of people coming to the table and connecting with their own adverse childhood experiences and trauma. And trauma-informed care is an approach that I know is used in direct service for those who've experienced trauma, but I've never really seen it applied to marketing, and I think there's a great case for doing so. At Love146, I've just come to assume trauma in the audience that I'm speaking to. Even if you're not an organization working with child sex trafficking and you're just speaking to the broadest audience, 1 in 3 women has experienced sexual assault alone, and that's only one kind of trauma. So when we're handling heavy topics and when our nonprofits are marketing about the world's issues, are we using language that's sensitive to people's individual issues? Because that's how we're going to make our storytelling connect. When I was in school and was trained to be doing advertising work, we were taught to kind of highlight a pain point and then give someone a solution. So give someone an itch and tell them how to scratch it. So applied to social issues, in its worst forms, that can look like making an audience as uncomfortable as possible using some of the most intense and traumatic details from somebody's life. And this approach to storytelling is certainly not sensitive to our clients, but it can also harm the audience. In trauma-informed organizations, we talk about vicarious trauma. It's a conversation we talk a lot among staff with. Vicarious trauma is when somebody else's story is having a traumatic impact on you. And I think sometimes in storytelling, when we're looking to create that itch, what sometimes happens is that we actually use vicarious trauma as a mechanism to make someone itchy. And it can seem effective and can even raise money in the short term, but we're nonprofits and money isn't our bottom line at all. In the work that we're doing in marketing and communications, our language could deliver vicarious trauma to tens of thousands of people in a minute. Or we could deliver vicarious hope and healing, bringing storytelling that helps and doesn't harm. So going back to that audience and their connection to the issue that brought them there in the first place, if we give any itch that speaks to their needs, the best itch we could give them is hope. And the language we use to do that matters tremendously. And keeping those impacted by our mission as the most centered stakeholders, it's going to lead us to use language that dignifies them. Being cognizant of that audience and a wider audience with a personal connection to the issue or to the problems allows me to do the most important thing, which is put our actual clients as the number one stakeholder. And so in my case, that's trafficked children. They're the bottom line and the number one concern without exception, and not just their fundamental needs, but as human beings. So doing our best in storytelling and in marketing materials to keep that perspective.